Hey there friends, welcome back to the channel. My name is Sohum and today I'll be reacting to, you guessed it, more anime openings and endings. I have a great time doing these. It feels like whenever I get to do anime opening and ending reactions, my brain just gets to fully spill out. And for me, that's super cathartic, so you get the full unadulterated version of Sohum. And let me know in the comments down below if you guys enjoy the style of reactions that I do on the channel. But before we jump into these today, a massive thank you, as always, goes to Amy the Quirky, whose generous support made this reaction possible. And y'all need to put some respect on Amy's name because she puts so much time and attention into her requests for these anime openings. She provides all of the backstory and plots for these animes that I would have otherwise never have known about. And that added context gives so much value to me. So from the bottom of my heart, Amy, thank you so much. And now let's just jump in. The first anime opening we're going to be checking out is from an anime called Soul Eater. Amy writes, "This was one of my favorite animes growing up. My kids love it too. It is also the prequel to Fire Force, which you have reacted to." Yes, I have. The mangaka, artist / creator of the manga, was inspired by Tim Burton and The Nightmare Before Christmas. I can already envision like the animation style as well as like the weird, ominous creatures that inhabit the lands, the sad, droopy eyes. Soul Eater is set at the Death Weapon Meister Academy, DWMA for short. That is a crazy acronym. Located in the fictional Death City in Nevada, United States. The school is run by Shinigami, also known as Lord Death, as a training facility for humans with the ability to transform into weapons. See, I got two weapons right here. God, I'm cringy. As well as the wielders of those weapons called Meisters. Attending this school are Maka and her scythe partner Soul Assassin, Blackstar, and his partner Tsubaki, who turns into various ninja weapons, as you do. And Lord Death's son, Death the Kid, and his pistol partners Liz and Patty Thompson. There's someone literally out there named Patty Thompson who watches this show, Soul Eater, and is loving life. Or maybe not, I don't know what happens to Patty in the show. The Meister students' goal is to have their weapons absorb the souls of 99 evil humans and one witch, which dramatically increases this weapon's power and turns them into death scythes used by Shinigami. The weapons and their Meister have to find a way to make their souls resonate to become more powerful. The quote at the beginning of every episode, "A sound soul dwells within a sound mind and a sound body." Well, doesn't that sound interesting? Let's check this one out. The song is called Resonance by TM Revolution. I wrote so much as it was just happening to me, there were so many like unique elements in this one that made sense and at the same time didn't make sense given like what came after. It feels like we had 3 to 4 different songs in one. One was like a more ominous song, another was like a more dance and EDM song, another was more of like a potentially like heavy anime rock style song, and then I guess a bit of trap, but honestly the trap is probably the least likely out of those three, so I'll just or out of those four, so I'll just go with the first three I listed. Very different vibe to this one. It felt like a little bit of the mix was shallow, which is what I wrote kind of early on, because in the beginning I'm like, oh, there's heavy chunky guitar that, you know, if we turn it up, if we put it in the foreground of the mix, it's going to get really loud, but it's going to play a huge role because of how melodic it can be with that power. But because it's further back and then the mix decides to like remain in that back space, it just feels a little bit like there's no massive punch moment, which with any music in general, you don't have to have these like massive apexes. I've kind of spoken about this concept in the past. But I think I would have liked a more obvious through line throughout this track. I think the obvious through line that we got was this shallowness in the mix, so to speak. That being said, I don't think it's that bad. I just don't understand it very well. And interestingly enough, there was like a lot of warbliness or wobbliness in the vocals that I heard also kind of emulated and echoed by the guitars as well. So what genre is this was my question at the end. It's got to be some combination. I'm okay with not knowing. You can leave it in the comments if you have the answer. But as for rating, I'm giving it probably a 7.2 to like 7.6. I think for me, it's too all over the place without any one like standout element that really grabs my attention. Also at the end there, I hear this like consistent pumping as if I'm like listening to an electric callboy song. That brought me a little bit of what would the term be? Brought me some memories back, which are good memories. So that bumped it up a few points there. But let's check out the next one. This is again from Soul Eater. This will be the second opening. The song is Paper Moon by Tommy Heavenly 6. Love that melody. Do 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 do. It's all in the minor scale, which I am a absolute fanboy of the minor scale. Really love that female vocalist as well. Very sweet timbre to her voice. It is delicate. There's this subtle breath support that I'm hearing her sing with that allows her voice to like cut through the mix, because everything else around her is actually rather heavy in the way it sounds, right? It's like in the mids, in the lows, in the bass, but then you have this like brightness in the vocals, which you kind of don't even get in the lead guitars. Because sometimes with lead guitars, depending on how high you go up the fretboard, you can actually emulate the female singer's voice, and it sounds like, oh, you have two very high moments in the mix. In this one, it feels like you just have that clarity in the singer, and juxtaposed is this backdrop with heavy guitars, but also like melodic. So they're heavy enough that it's not like metal, and they're melodic enough, but they're also rocky. So it's like a melodic rock style. I don't know. The words are escaping me right now. All I know is that this is somewhere between the 8s and 9s, and honestly, probably is going to get like a solid 8.8 to 9.3 range. Just, it works. And there's a darkness in all of the, I guess, background guitar that you hear too, especially in that chord progression while the singer is singing. It's subtle, but it works, and given the plot of the show, it maps on very well. I think just for that, it has to be 8.9 to 9.3. Because when you can match the sound to the show and its plot, that's like an extra level. Let's check out the next one, shall we? This is an anime called Drifters. Drifters follows historical figures known as drifters who are transported to a fantasy world and forced to fight in a war against a group called the Ends. Oh god, why does this sort of remind me of Imagination Land in South Park? Led by the Black King. Maybe a little bit of Lord of the Rings as well. All while being pawns in a larger game orchestrated by other powerful figures. These drifters include Shimazu Toyohisa, these names are always so hard for me, Nasu Suketaka Yoichi, Oda Nobunaga, Joan of Arc, bro, the easiest name right after, and Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. Why have I heard both of these names? Where would these be from that I would recognize them so easily? Anyways, let's check this song out. It's called Gospel of the Throttle Remix version by Minutes Till Midnight.
Just give me the feeling, push my motor every day. Gospel of the throttle, push my engine all the way. Singing na 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 na. Driving, twisting, turning sideways. I can't take this pressure no more. Gotta look like a hurricane. I got love, I got this love, I got my hurricane. Catch me if I'm speeding, push my motor every day. Hustle of the muscle, push my engine all the way. Everybody na 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 na. Driving, twisting, turning sideways. I can't take this pressure no more. Gotta live like a hurricane. I got love, I got this love, I got my hurricane.
Solid outro to that one. Definitely this was like a sort of, you kind of have to marinate on it track, and it just slowly, gradually rises and compounds. Almost like investing in like ETFs in the stock market. Even in the short term, if you're hemorrhaging, as long as you keep dollar cost averaging, buying more and more, over time, hopefully, if the stock market recovers, then your funds accumulate and compound value, and you reach those critical mass periods of profit. Now, we're talking about musical profit here, so let's make sure we got the terminology right. It's a slow burn. It builds. There's heaviness. The vocals are catchy. The riffs do their job. The bass is present. The drums are consistent. And we ride that wave and it gets bigger and it's like a building, like a massive tsunami wall. Did you guys ever see that scene in Interstellar? I forget the name of the planet that they're on. Spoilers, by the way. But because of the time dilation, like when they're on that planet, they like are down there for like an hour, but it's like 27 years in reality. Well, both are in reality. I'm not going to get stuck down a philosophical rabbit hole, even though you know you want me to. But anyways, they're on this island and it's an ocean planet. They're on this planet. It's an ocean planet. And they're witnessing a massive mile-high tsunami. The song builds up to that. I wouldn't say it's a mile-high tsunami. This song builds up to like a kilometer tsunami. I think that's less distance. 1,000 meters, that's 3,000 something feet. Yeah, we'll call it a kilometer high tsunami. But you guys weren't expecting me to say that. So where do we rate this? Probably somewhere between 8 point... I'm torn because I think melodically there's a little bit I would like to hear more from the vocals and more from the electric guitar. When we got the electric guitar at the end, we got to that higher ramp where we were like solidly in the nines, but we only had that for maybe 12 seconds before the song petered out and, you know, we got to the review section. So I'm going to go with 8.6 to 9.0, and if we had more melody from vocals and electric guitar, then this is like an easy 0.2 to 0.3. Yeah, so I think this just will get like a high 8s rating, which is reasonable, I think. Okay, and the last anime to check out is called Kekkai Sensen. We'll check out the first opening here. This anime is a supernatural sci-fi drama and action series set in the paranormal city of Hell Salem's Lot. Isn't this the name of that Stephen King book, Salem's Lot? Anyways, the story follows Leonardo Watch, a young photographer who gains the all-seeing eyes of the gods at the cost of his sister's sight. I mean, it's like one of those would you rathers where like, yes, morally maybe you should let your sister see, but like, if you get the all-seeing eyes of the gods, that seems like a worthwhile trade. Anyways, the series centers around a breach between Earth and the Netherworld that traps New Yorkers and otherworldly creatures in an impenetrable bubble. It's like you could have had all of humanity trapped or just New Yorkers. I don't know why this makes me laugh. This is funny. This anime is called Kekkai Sensen, aka Blood Blockade Battlefront. The song is called Hello World, which is a programming reference. Everyone's first program is Hello World. Print Hello World. System.out. Anyways, this one is by Bump of Chicken. Let's check it out.
扉開けばねじれた昼の夜昨日どうやって帰った体だけが確かおはようこれからまた迷子の続き見慣れた知らない景色の中でもうダメって思ってから割となんだかやれてる死にきらないくらいに丈夫なんかちょっと恥ずかしいやるべきことは忘れててもわかるそうしないととても苦しいから顔を上げて黒い目の人君が見たから光は生まれた選んだ色で塗った世界に囲まれて選べない傷の意味はどこだろうご自分だけがヒーロー世界の真ん中で終わって手伝りステージの上どうしよう空っぽの
the outro vibe completely changed the feeling of this song. This is the kind of song that when you hear it, like these 90 seconds that we got, we demand a longer version of this song. And it's a great thing that the longer versions of these songs exist, and it's not just the 90-second blurbs. I tend to do that when I find like the nines out of the anime openings I react to. I'll end up listening to the full versions, and there's so many more goodies in the full drawn out versions, and the narrative of the music makes more sense because there's more time to flush it out with all of the details. These feel very quick, like they're little bite-sized chunks that get the point across, but are very dopamine filled. But this one, I feel like I definitely get the impression that if you listen to the full version, it will make more sense. It will be more flushed out. It's as if we're missing like an extra round of verse, pre-chorus, chorus, bridge into outro. This one felt a little bit more, even though it was good, it wasn't as cohesive. Like, if this were the only 90 seconds of this song, it definitely wouldn't be sufficient for me. But because I can anticipate that there is a full-length version of the song, I'm still holding it in higher esteem than I might. But then again, I can only rate this on what I'm kind of hearing today and now. But I don't care. I'll do whatever I want to do. So I think for what it is, mixed in with a bit of the potential, I think I'll give 2 ratings. I'll give what it is today and the potential rating for what it could be. So right now, I think this is between like an 8.4 to like 8.9, which is a big range, because I do still think it is good in the moments that it becomes good. I would do wish the bass was a bit more bassier, something with a little bit more grit maybe, or bite, something. We needed some adjective for the bass to fit. It just felt more of like a percussive element with a little bit of roundedness. But that's more being pedantic. I think 8.5 to 8.9 is reasonable here for that, and potential is just a flat increase from, let's say, 8.8 to like 9.2. This is what I feel is possible, and I'm willing to take some kind of combination of these two, which I think ends up putting us around 8.75. Yeah, I think that is okay. I think that is a reasonable thing to do. At the beginning there, I was definitely getting vibes of a Yorushika. They're very, drum, guitar, vocal heavy, and bass. You can't forget the bass. This felt like an intro to a song like that. But we veered away. There was a lot of building, a lot of tension. On the way to the chorus, I liked how we transitioned, and I like what the chorus became. I think I'm just like missing a few details that would flush this one out more for me. So yeah, that's my rating there, 8.75. So let's reflect now. What have we got today? With Resonance, we started at a low 7.2 to 7.6, relatively speaking. So this will get a 7.4. Still would like to know what genre this is. Yeah, I was trying to think about it. Then the second Soul Eater opening, this is I want to say I even bring it up. I bump it up to like a 9.2. It's not just going to be an average 9.1 out of 10. I just really like the dark chords in the back. When you get heavy guitar like that and you hear those notes, for me, they like embrace me like a warm, long lost hug. Almost like, in a weird sense, when you romanticize your own pain, that's like what it is to love darkness in music and melody. Or not, just one of my random analogies. It can hit or it can't. The next one here is from Drifters. The na-na-na-nas were catchy. The transitions were smooth. I like the rhythmic switches. I still do think this has to be a little lower on this, so I would say 8.7 out of 10. Which is okay. Yeah, these are all okay. They all do their job. And then the last one here, Kekkai Sensen, aka Blood Blockade Battlefront, where the New Yorkers are fighting for survival, 8.75. So I think fairly solid ratings overall. I think literally the worst one, which worst when you are above a 5, is already like you're good, bro. You're doing fine. Worst of the best is still good. You know what I mean? But the lowest was 7.4 today. Highest was a 9 point. Oh god, why do I forget my ratings as I give them? A 9.2. So solid range overall. I'm really liking doing these openings to the extent that I literally watched a few episodes of, and it wasn't any of the animes besides one that I reacted to any of the openings. It was Attack on Titan. I watched the first episode. I was very intrigued by the animation style. I love how huge the creatures are. It reminds me of the Necryarch from old school RuneScape. If you guys know RuneScape or don't, whatever, you can look it up. Old school RuneScape, Necryarch or Necriel. These are like massive, towering creatures that resemble humanoids or skinned alive humanoids. You could also imagine from the same game, old school RuneScape, the Ankus. They're like this red outline of a skeleton, basically. It's like everything if you saw the internal organs of a human, but just externally. Yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed the reaction today. If you did and would like to request one yourself, you could do so by clicking the first link in the description box below. But I have to go to sleep, and I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day or night, wherever you are. Take care, my friends, and peace.